Day 8 of 12 Days of Anime has come, and as such I figured I would talk about one of the biggest series out there. In fact, I think you could probably argue it's the biggest series out there, at least if we base things on a popularity and sales and shit like that. It's One Piece. Now, I had originally intended to talk the One Piece manga when I made my One Piece topic, but I've changed my mind since then, so in this video it's gonna be more of a general topic. So if you're not reading the manga and only watching the anime of One Piece, for instance, or don't read or watch the series at all, well, this is probably not gonna be any big spoilers, or at best it's gonna be anime spoilers. You know, it's not really gonna be anything that really tells of the arcs that are ahead in the manga, because I have nothing really in particular that are about those arcs to talk about. So it's gonna be more of my thoughts on the series and my experience, you know, when catching up to One Piece, because, you know, I think it was quite a ride. You know, it's definitely an adventure to say the least, given how long the series actually is. Okay, so One Piece for me, you know, for the longest time I never really wanted to really get into One Piece, mostly because of how long and big the series actually was. You know, you had hundreds and hundreds of episodes or chapters if you wanted to go through the manga, and you know, it was something that really put me off going into One Piece, simply because I wasn't sure if I could actually go all the way through, and I didn't really want to stop halfway. At some point I figured, you know, well, I will try my best to at least get into One Piece and hope for the best, and that's what I did. Now, about halfway through, ironically enough, I did actually grow tired of reading the manga, so I took a very long break. And then eventually, about a year later, I actually picked it back up again, and you know, here we are, I'm caught up. I've been caught up for quite a while now, ever since about the very end of Whole Cake. So my catch up wasn't really that recent, although it was this year, so you know, keep that in mind. And my experience actually while catching up was quite mixed, because you know, I'm a guy who I like the artistic value in manga, but if there's way too much dialogue in comparison to actual art in a manga, you know, I will sometimes hesitate to really go through some of the chapters, which in One Piece was a bit mixed, because you know, sometimes you have a lot of dialogue and very little art, and sometimes you have an absolute abundance of art but you just don't really see that much dialogue. So in a sense there was a very good balance as such, but at the same time, you know, as I said, you know, whenever I see that much dialogue, it really can become something really off-putting, and that was probably one of my biggest obstacles going through One Piece as a whole. Well, that and the sheer amount of chapters that One Piece has. I mean, right now it's well over 900 chapters, which is a lot, and I think it has at least over 800 episodes, right? I mean, there's a lot of episodes, I know that much. So I decided to go with the manga, simply because reading the manga, I can go through the series at my own pace instead of being locked to the pacing that the anime has decided to pick, which I think was actually one of the better things I've done, at least for One Piece, because One Piece, as I said, it's quite a big show, and you know, you really need to have the right conditions set for you in order to have the best experience. And you know, I managed to get the right conditions for me, even though it did take a long time and I had to take a break in the middle. I still somehow managed. Now, One Piece for me, it's not like a top tier series in terms of enjoyment for me personally, but that's more of a preference thing. Like, I'm not really gonna deny the quality of One Piece. I mean, it wouldn't have gotten as much attention and sales and, you know, such a big fan base based on a fluke. I mean, you can go so far on a fluke, but it's not really gonna get to the level that One Piece has reached. So when I say that One Piece is kind of like an average show for me, it's more of you know, my personal preferences and, you know, my enjoyment with One Piece. It's not the greatest, but it's certainly not bottom tier. It's kind of like in the middle out of the series that I'm reading currently. I definitely like the world building aspect of One Piece. It is undoubtedly one of the better you're gonna find in any shonen manga. It's not really the best story in my opinion. I think the pacing is definitely something that could have done with some work, but it's already built its foundations, so there's no real reason to really change the pacing now. I think if they had to do that, they would have done it, you know, early series and not this late. So I think right now it's really on a good path, and you know, it's just gonna keep going until it ends. And you know, we don't really know when it's gonna end. It could be 10 years, 20 more years, you never know, right? Because manga durations are extremely unpredictable. Anyway, that's really all I had to say about One Piece for day 8 of 12 days of anime. I hope you liked it. I would love to know what you guys think about One Piece, if you either watch it or read it. Would you consider it to be like a top tier show or series? series, or a bottom or middle, kind of like myself? Like, do you just read for, weekly enjoyment, or is it like your religion? Like, some people, they definitely view certain manga as if it were their religion. Me personally, I don't have any manga like that, not even my favorite series on that high of a pedestal. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think down below, and as always, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember to check out day 9 of 12 Days of Anime tomorrow.